So, beg your pardon.
We're
So the
talking
way
about
that
building
I
search groups for feature categories.
Thanks for the intro, because I was just launching in there. So I'm just trying to think if there's a really simple dashboard here, like what the most trivial one is. I don't think, so I'll use NFS because it's almost trivial.
Mm-hmm.
So like for the NFS dashboard, until pretty recently, it looked like, I'll just edit it so that it looks like how it used to look. It used to look like that, right? And it basically says, give me a service overview dashboard for the NFS service. And this is kind of deprecated, so we could probably delete that. But effectively, we just say, give us a dashboard. And then what it generates is, this, which is looking quite sad since we've been decommissioning NFS so effectively. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, it's really rubbing against the bottom now. But so, this is all generated on the fly. And then there's an area at the bottom where you can just, add some extra bits, and then it goes in, and that's this kind of NFS specific stuff that I've put in since then. But effectively, the first dashboard that we got was, 2 lines. It's basically, give me the dashboard with no customizations.
So that's what I was imagining, because that's what I was imagining, because like the actual group names, they need to be like folders in here, or files in here, like depending on how we structure it.
Yeah, I'm thinking files, but
you get the idea, because like that's where they would do the customizations, but then the mapping of feature category to group,
that'll happen inside that.
Exactly. We would want to do that automatically for them, and I'm saying if we can skip that automatic mapping, we could save ourselves a bit of time in getting something delivered to somebody. But I don't think it's a huge deal whichever way around we do it. I just think I would rather.
It sounds like we're talking about the same thing though, so that's like really good.
Yeah, I would rather we. My concern with giving people a generate dashboard is that like, you kind of get a bystander effect where like everybody assumes that somebody else is going to be using that, whereas if we like focus on sorry, go on.
Yeah. No, they can. Yeah, exactly. They can. You can encourage them to kind of add all the stuff that they want there, but you kind of give them the structure around. Sorry.
Yeah. Whereas if we give it to specific teams, like there's more of an onus on them, like social pressure for them to like actually like work with us here, and we can, like I said, I get what you mean about getting into the weeds with customizations, but I think. The way Andrew sort of laid it out, like there's the common components, and then the to the dashboard, and then there's the like custom components. So for the global search team, they'd have like Elasticsearch timings and Elasticsearch service. For package team, they'd have the registry service for.
But they'd still have the same set of work across the top, like the SLI service health components.
Yes, exactly.
Like that stuff will still be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then down below that there'll be all the other bits that they've chosen to put in there.
Because apart from
we can take
Gitterly and distribution, I guess, and memory. Okay, for most teams, there are controllers and there are sidekick queues.
Monolith teams.
Yeah, and distribution and memory wouldn't really have these dashboards anyway. Well, I guess memory might use the workhorse image scaler stuff, but yeah.
So what about if we generate this dashboard without the customization piece that is at the bottom, it's just the standard normal piece, and we explain to people how to use this, and we publish it out saying this is there, and we're going to be working with, for example, the registry, the package team about this, and we go through and we customize it for them, and then we select pages and we go through and we do the customization for them. But at least in the meantime, if anyone is interested, they've got the base and they've got the explanation of how to understand the base of what's there, but we still go through the efforts of going one by one through everyone.
So I think you could do both at once if you want. Like, there's nothing stopping, say, like, we build the generic dashboard, but then we need to like map the feature categories to teams. So like Bob goes and does that, and I go and work with package, or vice versa, or Jakob does, you get the idea. Like, there's no reason we couldn't do both of those at the same time.
There's a third stream of work, and this is why I wanted to jump in the call, and that is the the new SLIs, where the teams are defining the SLIs, and that work's going to be happening kind of in parallel to all of this. And we'll have the first of those SLIs coming on board online while you're working on this. And
Which
like literally, so you know the service level monitoring V2 proposal. So that's kind of all taking shape at the moment. And obviously what we need is a place to go and show the service level indicators for feature category X. And like literally I was thinking about this and writing some stuff up in a proposal when I saw your thread come on, which is why I was so eagle-eyed and going like,
well, I would think that
so I would like to put it in there as well.
Well, I think the same thing would apply, that we've got the base of what's there, and then we need to go and engage with the stage groups to put in the customizations and to put in the new SLI stuff. But like there's a certain amount that we just give to them, and then like we give to everyone, and then we have to go and do specific things with specific people after the fact.
Yeah, but the dashboard where it'll kind of, you know, in the same way that we get all of this stuff on the service dashboard, it will kind of just automatically appear on the stage dashboard. Are we going with stage or team or
stage group is their name?
Is that the name of a team? Okay.
Yeah, a team is broader, so the stage group is the word that people or the
Thank you.
term.
Yeah, although stage group does include the front end team, which, you know, realistically most of these won't apply to.
For now.
Well, yeah. I mean, there are front end dashboards because there's the largest contentful paint stuff. So
yeah, we'll use InfluxDB or something. No.
Okay, so that sounds like it's a possible way forward, is generating something generic, but then talking to specific teams to do the customization for them, and just getting started with that as soon as the dashboard's online.
Yeah, my concern is, so I think we both have the same concern about blocking stuff. Like my concern is that we don't want to block stuff on making it like requiring us to like be automatically or manually mapping like every feature category to every group. Like, you know, and your concern is we don't want to be blocking ourselves on reaching all the groups while we spend like, you know, 6 weeks working with one group.
That's exactly, good summary. Yeah,
I think if we just treat those as two separate exit criteria for the projects, that probably solves both of those.
Sean, wouldn't it be a good idea to figure out how to generate a map dashboard from the feature category group mapping, and then have a dashboard, like a group dashboard with the feature categories that apply there, and then start from there?
Sorry, say that again, Bob. So you want to create a dashboard? So what I'm saying is like we need to like make sure we have a good way to generate the files for the dashboards and the mappings themselves for like which groups own which feature categories. Is that what we're talking about here? Yeah.
Yes. So collect a set of feature categories that apply to a group, and then we should only have to write one line of JSON it to generate the dashboard for that.
Yes.
And then below that, everything custom.
Yeah, exactly. So
really
that's what Andrew was demonstrating at the start.
I'm commenting that curl line and actually kind of, I don't want to be like too flippant about it, but obviously there's a little bit more to it, but effectively we just kind of pull it in and then, you know, read that JSON as libs on it, even though it's just JSON.
Yeah, I don't think it's too hard. I just, you know, I think you'd want things around that.
No, totally.
You want to make sure that there aren't paths that are like orphaned. Like, you know, we've renamed a stage group or whatever, but they still have like dashboard path at some old place, like, or, you know, stuff like that. And also, well, I guess we don't really need to solve this now. I was also wondering like what happens when we move a feature category between groups, to say all of a sudden, like,
so you know, I imagine what would happen is that the next time the runbooks get merged into master, it would just kind of, you know, those feature categories would just sort of appear on the other dashboard.
I think that probably makes sense. And if we wanted the opposite, we could use recording rules if we really wanted the opposite, but I don't think we do right now.
Yeah, recording rules would be a little bit tricky for, you know, because what you want is you actually want to lay things out on the Grafana.
You want to have it by feature category.
You don't really have access to Prometheus there, so it's got to be either, you know, JSON. That's either in the repository or pulled from the other repository, so that we can generate different rows depending on the detail.
Yeah, and one more thing we don't need to solve now, but we need to keep in mind is like we changed feature category names. So we like changed the Kanban boards feature category to just be called boards. And at some point we might want to do something with that. But again, for now, I think we can say we don't need it right now.
But for that, the feature category name change, we've already got the thing in GitLab Rails with the job that would fail, because that would have to trigger us to look at both repositories.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, what I mean is like, do we want to then in the dashboard say like, this group owns Kanban boards and boards, because those were two different names for the same category historically.
Ah, right. For the
because if we're pulling in the file from the repo, it won't have the old names. But again, we don't need to solve that now. Like, let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, I think as long as there's a way for us to know that we have to cross the bridge, and then we can cross the bridge. Yeah. So I think it sounds like we're in agreement that step one, we need to have a way of mapping the feature categories to the stage groups, which exists in a file somewhere, but we need to pull it into the right place. Second piece, generate the dashboards for everyone using the one-line magic. Yeah. Publish that along with some kind of tutorial or documentation information for what there is, and then we pick a handful of probably just one or two instead of a whole handful of stage groups to work with them to do the customization for that, and see during that process if there's any way to make the customization easier for others.
I think like we've already mentioned them, but the search group would be really good, because
Dylan's super engaged on already adding this stuff. Yeah. So like that's a good place to start.
It would be cut and paste.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if that all sounds good, then I'm going to write that up into the Epic and publish that out today. So awesome. This has been super helpful. So thank you for all being willing to jump on a call really quickly.
It's all right. I guess none of us had any meetings today anyway, because that's how it works. So it's a good day to grab people.
Oh, but then I feel a bit bad because I might be like grabbing focus. So I'm hoping that over lunchtime, there's focus is more on food than on code. But anyway, yeah. Cool. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
Cool. You too. Bye.
Bye.